Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we have a cheese cooler that the customer said is freezing up everything. First thing I did, I put my thermometers in every section in the case to confirm that the temperature is below freezing point. Second thing I did, I looked for what's controlling this case. And it's not a power valve, it's a solenoid, which is being controlled by by a temperature sensor. So since the solenoid is not stopping the cooling when the temperature set point is reached, I knew automatically that that solenoid was not doing its work. I swapped it right away, put a brand new solenoid in. Third, swapping out the solenoid once the temperature reaches 34 degrees, which was the set point, it cuts the power on the solenoid coil and the valve actually closes and stops the cooling. I know I left a lot of steps behind. I didn't show you how I diagnosed the coil. I will tell you first, I put it on defrost to see if the cooling is going to stop. It did stop the power going to the solenoid when you put it on defrost, but it did not stop the cooling. That means the valve never stopped feeding. So I knew the coil is working. And also another thing, when the set point is reached, when it goes below to 30 degrees, it also cuts the power to the solenoid. So the solenoid had no power and the case was still feeding. That solenoid was still feeding. So I knew automatically that solenoid was bad and the coil was good. So I kept the coil. I put the same coil back in. And once the temperature reaches 33 degrees, it cuts the power on the solenoid and therefore the cooling towards the case. One thing you need to know as a tech, you need to know once you arrive on the system, you need to know if your problem may be mechanical or electrical. If it's electrical, you need to know your electrical components. What do they do? What's their purpose? If you energize something, what's going to happen? If you de-energize something, what's going to happen? You need to know how relay works, how solenoid works, how temperature sensors work, how thermostats work. You need to know if you cut power to the thermostat, what's going to happen. If you cut power to the solenoid valve, what should happen? Okay, in this case, my temperature sensor cut the power going to my solenoid coil. So if my solenoid coil is not activated, there should be no liquid going through that solenoid valve. So in this case, since my sensor, I know it's working, it's reading 28 degrees. After my sensor, there's no power, so I automatically knew that my solenoid valve is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. This is in the matter of 5 minutes of me being there, okay? So I didn't go with the customer's word that the case was freezing. First thing I did, I checked the temperature, make sure that what the customer said is true. So since that was true, I established that the case is running too low. Then I looked for the reason why it's running low, okay? I know that my case is running through a solenoid. Therefore, I have to check if my sensors or if my thermostat is working, if it's reading right, okay? My case can be reading 28 degrees, but my thermostat or my sensor is reading a different temperature, okay? I have to establish to confirm if the actual temperature is the same as my sensor is saying, okay? Since I established those things, I confirmed the temperature, I confirmed that the sensor is working, I confirmed that I have no power going to my solenoid coil. Therefore, I knew that the valve was bad. And as soon as I replaced the valve, as you're going to see in my second video, I'm going to show you when the solenoid actually cuts the cooling going to the case, you're gonna see the temperature raises when it goes below the set point, when it reaches the set point, and when the solenoid reactivate after going above the set point. So stay tuned for another video.